Yo, 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 welcome to a brand new episode of Broken Takes. My name is Ali, and I'm your host tonight. I got some wonderful special guests here tonight. Can't wait to have a good episode with y'all. We'll be talking some real hot takes. I'm telling you, real, this is an episode you're going to watch. But before I bring on our special guest, let's bring on my co-host, Color. What's up, Color? How you doing?
What's up, man? What's up?
Up. Look at this, Color. I haven't been on for like, what, 2 weeks? I got a haircut.
I know, man. I know. You look like you're ready to throw a tomahawk, bro. What's up with that?
I know. I mean, what is up with that? Everyone was like, is that your real hair with the long hair? Yeah, it was my real hair. I just decided to cut it all off. Let's start new. Got a new show coming up. More about that later. Let's get into this. But before we do, I'd like to shout out to our sponsors. We got Doobie Energy Drink up in the house. Doobie has some really cool energy drinks. Definitely check them out. Their energy drinks actually have supplements and vitamins that actually help the brain. It benefits the brain functionality, your focus. They also claim that none of their energy drinks provide any jitters or that instant crashing that you get with other energy drinks or supplements. So definitely check out Doobie. Check out the link below for in the description. They got some cool stuff. And then, lo and behold, our favorite.
New seasons, new gear. Show the world what it means to be a fan in 100% authentic gear. Fanatics. Officially licensed everything.
Officially licensed everything. I like whoever that guy is, man. We need to hire.
I'm really close to nailing down who that is. I've tracked him down. I've spoken with some sources. I'm pretty sure we're ready to announce who that might be.
Definitely. I get all my stuff from Fanatics. I got something special coming in the mail. Something special coming in the mail. Thanks to my wife. You can thank her. I'll probably on the next Broken Takes. I'll be showing it to everybody. So and I got
a color commentary mug.
Oh, I didn't get color commentary mug. But speaking of mugs, check out the merch store. You never know what you might find. A late night exhale mug, Color.
Where'd you get that?
Ooh, stay tuned. That's a little sneak preview. We'll be talking about that. Not necessarily tonight, but coming soon to a TFTG episode near you. Definitely. We'll be talking soon. That also being said,
Did I miss the perk party or something?
No, we'll definitely we'll talk backstage. But lo and behold, thanks to Backroom Collections, also check out their stuff. It's downstairs in the link below. They got some cool canvases and artwork that you can put in any room, including your man cave, your sports room, maybe your workout room, your gym. A lot of people have those basement gyms up north. Who knows? You know what I mean? You can definitely put in a lot of stuff. They also have those cool helmet accessories that you give those mini helmets that everybody signs. I know Miss Finn's. Shout out to her that collects quite a few of those. So shout out to Backroom Collections. But anyway, yeah, check out all of our sponsors. We got some other sponsors coming in the woodworks. We'll be talking about that soon. But yeah, shout out to them. Also in the links below, you can check out our merch store. We got a lot of merch. There's that mug Color. There's different mugs you can get, tumblers, t-shirts, the whole 10 yards. They got
black one. Actually, both of them because they got the same pattern. It looks like I'm like yelling into your ear.
It does kind of. Then you got t-shirts, hats, the famous flag, dude. I'm telling you, everybody, if you want to buy anything from the merch store, this is what you want to buy. This flag is legit. It's big, great material. It doesn't look like it was cheap. I love this flag. In fact, I didn't tell you this Color, but we already purchased the portable flagpole for the tailgate. So we're gonna have that flying up in like 20 feet in the air. It's gonna be pretty awesome.
That's really cool.
They got beanies, flip flops, the whole 10 yards. Definitely check out the link below to our merch store. Anyway, shout out to all of our followers or subscribers and everything. We wouldn't be here without you. We also accept Cash App, Venmo, and other things. And while you're waiting for another Broken Takes, you can also check out the TFTG show every other day of the week with El Capitan, doing interviews with Brian Catt and other people. Definitely check him out. We also got the Rabid Dolphin, doing the spaces and now doing stuff on Finn's Tailgate during the middays. Check out Lewis. He has some really cool stuff. Color commentary, great show tonight, Color. I definitely wanted to say that. I can't wait till your next one and see what else you got to say in the mornings. I have a cup of coffee.
Should be tomorrow morning, barring any physical ailments that are impediments, I should say.
Definitely. And then we got Dolphins debrief with DTA. DTA be doing shorts and doing these Dolphin war rooms and stuff. Love the stuff that he brings, so definitely check him out. And Late Night Exhale, we are still in business, people. Don't get it wrong. We're just taking a break on the off season. As soon as the preseason starts, Late Night Exhale will be in full force. But meanwhile, we have a brand new morning show that's coming out. Stay tuned. You're going to see new details coming this week, I promise. So definitely check out that show when it comes up. We also accept Cash App, Venmo. We also have Super Chats. And we also have membership. If you'd like to become a member of the channel, we really appreciate it. We got 3 different memberships, Amigos, Familia, and MVP. They get different content, different emojis and stuff. So definitely check that out. Meanwhile, Color, we have a special guest. Should we go ahead and introduce him now?
I mean, he's about to jump through the screen down there, so I don't know. He might.
Yeah, I might.
Chomping at the bit.
Being 100% honest, Color. To be 100% honest, a guy of this nature, I feel, as a special guest to this show, but I haven't had him on a Broken Steak before. He deserves some intro music. I think this might be
right. Yeah.
Let's go. Let's do this. Shake Money in the house. What's up, Shake Money?
Shake.
You're on mute, Shake.
Come with me if you want to live.
Oh, hasta la vista. What's up, Shake Money? How you doing, buddy?
You know how it is. It's another beautiful day in Zamunda.
Yeah, definitely. This is your first time on my show, so welcome.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here, by the way.
Definitely. Broken Takes is not it's not quite like the shows that you see every day around here around the Fins community. This is a show that the crazier the take, the better. You know what I mean? So go ahead and whatever the craziest thing that slightly may be true, this is where you can talk about it freely. No judgment here, and go ahead and bring it to the table. But meanwhile, we have a lot of stuff going on with the Dolphins. We're in free agency now, and in free agency, we have seen Chris Greer nickel and diming, basically, signing people to like the lowest contracts, stuff that I hadn't seen us do before. I mean, not saying that we had to sign everybody and sign the most expensive guys, but even the position of needs, I thought we would get some mid-tier to upper second tier guys, maybe 1 or 2, and then we'd fill in with a lot of like lower costing guys. But it seems like we are bargain shopping. We are playing money ball this season in the free agency. Would you guys agree so far? That's what it looks like we're doing.
I mean, that is what the evidence is showing. I mean, we've made no big splash on offensive line, which everybody would agree. Whether it's a platitude or not, that's our biggest issue and biggest need for the last, some would say, 30 years. We did do some work in the linebacking room. Hopefully we get the tackling issues resolved there. But these are all maintenance plays. If you really think about it, we're not talking about, have we really done anything? Are we looking at overall constructed a different team much than we had last year?
No, I think that they strongly upgraded at the corner position, having Jalen Ramsey,
of course,
brought him in. That me and you had
we lost Byron Jones.
Yes, we did lose Byron Jones.
Now, we could do the Jalen Ramsey Byron Jones comparison, but let's face it, everybody was like, "Oh, Byron Jones being out is the reason we had problems on defense." So, that's possibility. I don't blame everything all on him. To be honest, our problems on defense is because of injuries, bro. We had too many injuries in the secondary, and not enough people to step up, basically. But
essentially how I look at it is this: you brought in, you and I had an entire show of Broken Takes where we broke down the corners that I thought we could draft in this coming up in draft. And what you, we went ahead and got the guy that's the original of what we were looking for. We were all talking about we can get a Jalen Ramsey type-esque player cheaper in the draft. But what did we do? Chris Greer was like, here, hold my coffee. I'm going to go get myself the original, the real deal, no generic here. And I was like, oh, okay. So we went and started off free agency by doing this. Big splash, huge move, right? Completely changes the secondary and how I look at it. I honestly think we have one of the top 3 secondaries, no question, in the NFL today on paper.
Given execution, yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Shake.
No, I was going to say, outside of the Jalen Ramsey move, I think Chris Greer was like Chris Rock, and I'm going to get you, sucker. How much for one rib?
Let me how much for this much Pepsi? You know? We
got that meme, by the way.
So I forget. I don't have it on here, but we had that meme. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up, because that was one of El Capitan's favorite memes to play.
He should be playing it every day now, to be honest. I mean, outside of
change for 100.
Oh my god, it's so funny. So yeah, outside of Jalen Ramsey, we picked up Long. I can't think of his first name.
David Long. Yeah,
David Long. And I actually like David Long. I think he's a solid tackler. The guy can make tackles. He played.
Well, hallelujah.
Well,
thank God for small favors, right?
Well, here's the reality of it. I mean, that was the one thing we were the worst. If our defense actually tackled not even like 100% better, but like 25% better than what they did, these games may have turned out a lot different. Colors.
I tell you what, if David Long can drop back in coverage and cover as well as Kader Kahoot can tackle,
yeah,
we're going to be pretty good off in the secondary.
Yeah, I absolutely 100% agree with you. That's one guy I like. The other guy I like that we brought in, and I've told you this, Color, that I kind of feel like this guy is that Komet type of tight end that we saw from the Bears that we didn't know who the hell he was, and then we're like, oh, now we know who you are. You know what I mean? Type of guy. I could see our tight end, what's his name? Stalbert. Yeah, Stalbert. I think he could be that sleeper in this group of free agents that we brought in. And the reason being is the guy blocks obviously better than what Gesicki did. And in addition, he looks very smooth in the running routes that he ran in, how he caught the ball with his hands and instantly went running. You know what I mean? There was no like he had to build it up or anything. It looked like one solid motion. And that's my opinion based on what I saw in the short tapes that we were able to see of him. So and he has experience playing, with the Broncos and stuff like that. So I mean, it's a guy that I'm not expecting like huge numbers from or like he's like the next Waller or anything. But I think in this system, the tight ends with that type of tight end, now you can run 2 blocking tight end schemes if you wanted. You also have the situation that even though that guy can block, they still have to worry because he can catch too. You know what I mean? So that's what I kind of like about him. Now, some of the other guys, the safety, I don't know what you think about him, Shake Money. I heard he's pretty decent. I saw the hit he put on Derrick Henry. He brought Derrick Henry back to his knees. I mean, that was pretty impressive. I mean, I don't know what you guys feel about that. Did we lose Shake?
I'm not sure. Did we lose you, Shake?
I think he paused himself to yawn.
He's frozen right on yawning or something. Look at him.
All right. Shake Money, if you can hear me, just wave on the screen or go out and come back in if you can.
Shake.
Anyway,
come back, Shake.
Shake, we'll be back to you in just a few minutes.
So really quick, in 2 years with Atlanta, he amassed a 55.6% catch rate. 2 years with Denver, 63.9%. 1 year with Chicago.
What do you do with Chicago?
Now, these are not in any order. He was actually started. He was drafted by Atlanta Went to Chicago, went to Jacksonville, and then went two seasons in Denver. So in 1 year in Chicago, he had a 66.7. Now, very small sample size. None of his teams other than Denver had a really large large enough sample size for percentage to matter. And in 2 years in Denver, he had 63.9. 1 year in Jacksonville in 2020, he played in 8 games, started 4, had 4 targets, caught 3 of them for a 75% average. So, you know, nobody's really utilized him in the passing game per se.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, Color, because I've read that he's more of a blocking tight end, but the one thing that drew teams to look at him and actually, consider drafting him was his athleticism. The guy actually is very tall. He looks like he has, some upper body strength. So I know the blocking is going to be good, but like I said, in tape, he does look like he can move a little bit, like he has some quickness to him. I'm not saying he's fast.
Right.
I just think he's quick and smooth to where I think he's one of those guys that you would like, in the sense that he's going to make sure he catches the ball and instantly, has it first before he starts running, but it's going to look like a solid motion here.
And with his reach, he instantly becomes taller than every linebacker we face. You know what I mean? So that's a big benefit across the middle.
Definitely. I'm going to bring our special guest back. Shake Money.
Yeah, you froze right in the middle of a yawn there, Shake.
Shake, did you go to Zamunda and come back?
Yes, I did.
How was
it? All I did was get this mug.
Nice. What kind of drinks you got sitting there? Just curious.
This is Flor de Caña, 12-year Flor de Caña, but the only reason I got it is because it's the 50-year anniversary.
50th anniversary. Ooh, nice. That looks nice. Anyway,
this is for decoration, and this is for drinking.
Nice, definitely. So we're talking about our free agent pickups. What do you think? What's your favorite so far? Is there somebody that you like more than the others? What do you think?
As far as free agents, I like the linebacker and the safety pickup. For
Deshaun Elliott,
cornerback, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no.
Deshaun Elliott's a safety.
Oh, right. Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So you like
solid pickup?
Yeah, he played with Jones. So I think he's kind of like the McKinley to Javon Holland, sort of say, because they played together in Texas.
Definitely, yeah, they did. They did play together in Texas. That's true. That actually, I expect us to still have McKinley on this team. To be honest, I think he's going to be a guy we bring back. Do we? I'm gonna. Pete's gonna hate this. Do we keep 3 quarterbacks on this team still?
I say so.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think we keep 3 quarterbacks. Especially if you're staying another year with Tua, you have to.
Well, not only that, think about this. The San Francisco 49ers were on their 4th quarterback. 4th. There's been plenty of teams in the NFL that they were down to the 3rd string quarterback. So at the end of the day, you have 2 options. You keep a third quarterback that was in your system, or you take a chance of picking up a street free agent last minute that doesn't know your system at all.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think they decided to pick a guy that they feel that could do the job well enough and learn the system off the bat. I guess I don't really know why it didn't work out with Teddy. I know Color had high hopes for Teddy as a backup. I don't know. I don't know if it was some people.
I've got my hypothesis of why it didn't work out and why you guys saw the body language you saw.
at the end of the day, I think that like it or not, Teddy Bridgewater is a hometown hero. You know what I mean? He's a guy from Miami, and I think, like, speaking of broken takes, I'm gonna come out with one. And, you know, at the end of the day, he said he was probably told, "Hey, listen, you're gonna come to." He thought he was compete. You know, this was gonna be a QB competition, and he found out this QB competition was like the elections in Russia.
Get out of my mind, Shake.
So you're
I was
saying
I was just gonna sum all that up by saying, let's just say that Teddy Bridgewater is the consummate professional. We'll say it that way, Shake. How about that?
Yes.
So what you're saying, Shake, is that the Tuaneers are nothing but Russian hackers putting their own agenda and propaganda in our minds.
No, but what I'm saying, what I mean by Russian.
That's what you're. That's what correlation you're making, Shake.
More like
actually, what I mean by Russian election is a Russian election is you have two options. You have Vladimir and you have Putin.
Right.
That's your election. Those are your choices.
Right, so, like in Venezuela, it was Hugo and Chavez.
How do you think he gets that message out? But with those Russian hackers, that's basically how that works. I mean, I'm just being honest.
So you think it's an election, but it's really not an election. You're just voting for one person.
It's rigged, bro. It's rigged. I get it.
Yeah, and the election, like the watchers around the world, they're like, well, because they're a bunch of bureaucrats too. So they're like, well, the paperwork's in order. It's official. It's fair.
You know, I definitely hear what you guys are saying.
Hey, Putin won, but Vladimir came close.
I mean, we saw people voting.
All right, back to football, people. So I definitely hear what you're saying. I honestly think Teddy still wanted to be a starter somewhere. I don't think he really got a fair shot in any of the locations that he was at, Panthers, Broncos, or here, even at the Saints. Remember, he decided to stay at New Orleans because he didn't want to come here to be the starter. He thought he was going to be the starter of New Orleans, which he didn't have to worry so much about a rebuild. You know what I mean? They already had a team, but it didn't work out for him there either. So I feel for the guy. But even then, even when you have everything stacked against you, when you had the time to prove why you should have been the guy, you didn't take advantage of it, Color. Or you disagree?
I do.
Please tell me how you feel you disagree. Go ahead.
Did Skyler prove himself in your opinion against Buffalo?
Yeah, I mean he didn't lose us the game. It wasn't his fault.
Right. And he threw 3 balls that if 2 of them get caught,
that game's a lot different. Yes.
And so is his stat line.
But here's the other part. Skyler,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying the reason I'm going here is because if you feel that Skyler Thompson performed, to the best of his abilities and was sufficient, then how is that any different dropping 3 footballs than it is fumbling one while you're driving down to take the game leading score?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Color. For me, I mean, Skyler kind of proved himself in a sense what he did to Minnesota, bro. 7 first downs, though all 7 first downs got called back because of some stupid.
I didn't want to go down the road of comparing to Skyler Thompson. My point was that you can't. Teddy Bridgewater can't control what Waddle does with the football.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Okay, and for all those people that notice, our tight end is now for dirt cheap money is playing for our division rival. Okay, so he was think of it like this, whether you think he was bad or not. The optics are Mike Gesicki was so bad that we were willing to let him go to our division opponent.
I think that contract's only $4.5 million is his base, bro.
Right.
Everything else is
and nobody and I've never really like dissected or given a take on Mike Gesicki's play. But I do remember right after the Cincinnati game, there were a few that cooler heads that were like, "Hey, is that interception on Teddy or not?" And we still haven't gotten down to the bottom of that. All I know is the tight end, who we all say all the time can't run proper routes, is the one we give deference to on that play and is now playing for our division opponent. I'm willing to side with Teddy there.
Yeah, I definitely hear.
So you take that interception away, and by that point of the evening, Teddy had thrown the longest touchdown air yards in the league up to that point in the season.
That's
when
true.
He threw that bomb to Tyreek. And
yeah.
I just, I could go on and on and on. I'm just saying the default that Teddy did not perform. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I've looked at the numbers, and there's certain people who will remain nameless right now that just simply didn't show up for our backup quarterbacks. Bottom line, up to and including the coach when it comes to play calling and personnel decisions.
That's
just what I believe. And if it's a broken take, that's what we're here for.
It's all good. I definitely hear what you're saying. I mean, I do agree that even Tyreek, I think it was him himself. Maybe it was Waddle that said it. One of the two said that they play differently with Tua than they do with the other guys. And that is an issue in its own. You know what I mean? If you truly are,
is it not possible that Teddy honestly was lured in by the idea that he was going to be able to compete? And it didn't become apparent to him that he would ever be able to get to shine, given some of the things. In other words, if I have that broken take and Teddy's in the building to witness it firsthand, my body language would look exactly like him.
Yeah, I definitely.
In other words, if I felt the way I do now, me, after what I just said to you guys, if I feel that way and I was in the building as a player, the player in question, I would probably have some kind of body language that would not be pleasing to you guys. Just saying. I
definitely hear you. I mean, I wonder what Shake Money thinks. He's sitting there like Ian Rappaport looking at his phone like another free agent is going to pop up. He's got some sources or something. What do you got for us, Shake? What do you think?
I was thinking, maybe what you're trying to say is you got somebody that he think Teddy Bridgewater in his mind, he feels like he's in the practices, he's in the huddles, he's seeing everything that's going on, and he's like, ain't no way this guy is better than me. So, and at the end of the day, no matter how better I know I am than he is, it's not going to get me anywhere because he has the keys to the kingdom and ain't crap I could do about it.
Remember, Shake, he literally said it. Even Ray Charles and Stevie can see what's going on here.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he still had a job after saying that, to be honest with you. Because that could be, that could form a distraction. That could be a fissure that would create a distraction. But what other options did we have? Mike Glennon. So he knew he could say something like that. You know what I mean? Plus,
if Glennon played,
our coaching staff is probably impotent to do anything about it.
Color, if that was the case, if Glennon was the guy, that would have been the first time in history that a Dolphins team would have had a cheetah, a penguin, and a giraffe scoring touchdowns. Welcome to the zoo, everybody. That's the new name of the Hard Rock.
Miami Zoo, Hard Rock Zoo.
That's right. That's what they would call it. Anyway, that actually leads into my next segue here, Color. And I want to talk about going back to this Moneyball and why we're playing Moneyball. And I honestly feel that there's two possibilities of why we're playing this Moneyball now versus why we didn't do it later or earlier. And let me read a few things. I'm going to read this information that I've put together about certain individuals, and let's break it down and see what we think is really the real case here. Okay, so let's talk about the money. Who does the money come from? We have the cap. We have a certain amount of cap space we put in, but we all know there's ways to manipulate that cap. Let it be through trades, restructuring, or extending players. When you restructure or extend players, your owner could actually open up his pocketbook and write a direct check to somebody and take some of that amount off of the cap space. That's a very, very possible thing. Let's talk about Mr. Ross and his successes in the world and some of the money he comes from. So if you may not know, Stephen Ross was born on May 10th, 1940. Do you want to know why May 10th is such a big deal, Color?
Why's that?
Because me and Mr. Ross have the same birthday.
Oh, you're kidding me.
No joke. I'm born on May 10th. Rock and roll. What small world is that? Look at that.
Yeah. Hey, I thought I was cool because I had the same birthday as Pat Riley and Sting.
That's actually really cool. That's cooler. That's very much cooler. But the fact that Mr. Ross, we share a birthday. You want to buy me something? No, I'm just kidding. So he was born in Detroit, Michigan, which is about 45 minutes north of my hometown, Toledo, Ohio. He graduated from the University of Michigan. Yeah, unfortunately, he did. With a degree in accounting and earned a law degree from Wayne State University. Pretty interesting. Ross started his career as a tax attorney, if you didn't know, working at a prestigious law firm in Detroit. However, he soon realized his true passion to lay in real estate developments. That is legit. He is a real estate Mongol. In 1972, Ross moved to New York City and founded his own real estate firm called the Related Companies. Yes. The company initially focused on affordable housing, but Ross quickly expanded to portfolio into luxury residential and commercial properties. He was a shrewd businessman, always looking for opportunities to grow his business. Ross' involvement in the NFL began in 2008 when he purchased 50% stake in the Miami Dolphins. He became the sole owner of the team in 2009 after buying out his partner, Wayne Huizenga. And Ross' tenure as the owner of the Miami Dolphins has been marked several notable achievements. Under his leadership, the Miami Dolphins have undergone a significant transformation. He invested heavily in the team's facilities, including the construction of the state-of-the-art training center and renovation of the team stadium. If you haven't seen the training center or the training facilities, and you get a chance to actually take a stroll through, or what do they call it? Where they take a tour. I'm sorry, that was the word I was looking for. Definitely check it out.
I think for all these guys around here too, Shake.
Yeah.
Somebody has to with the shenanigans that goes around here. Somebody has
I'll be sending you my invoice for that one, Ollie.
Don't worry, you know I'm good for it.
Hey, by the way, before Ross graduated from Michigan, he got his undergrad from Florida.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's true. That's true. I almost forgot about that. Can't let the Gators get away without any recognition. So anyway, long story short, if you ever get a chance to take a tour of the facilities, please do so. They say this facility is remarkable. It's the stuff that they have in there. They have their own a barber shop. They got their own restaurant. There's a cool slide you can slide down. There's like all this stuff that they have in there. I see what you're doing there, Color. All right, check out late night commentary with Color. That's actually really cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that might be I think I might use that as my step away, take 5 intermission screen.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Actually, we'll talk after show. We'll talk. So yeah, check it out. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the SEC teams and their training facilities, but they say that the Miami Dolphins are like the closest thing to. Like they're supposed to be the cream of the crop, but the Miami Dolphins have pretty much one of the best facilities in the NFL. That's what they say. But continuing about Ross, he's also been actively involved in the NFL's efforts to promote diversity and inclusion. He's a founding member of the NFL Social Justice Committee. In addition to his work with the Miami Dolphins, Ross has been instrumental in the development of the Hard Rock Stadium, the home of the Miami Dolphins. He led a $500 million renovation of the stadium, which included an installation of the new canopy roof and the addition of several new amenities for fans. So that is just some of his proud that he's done in the NFL and his early upbringing. But let's actually go down the list of some of his notable accomplishments. Founder of the related companies, as I already said, one of the largest real estate development firms in the United States, purchased a 50% stake and later became the owner, as I said. I already talked about his stadium, built a state-of-the-art training facility, which we talked about, has been actively involved in the efforts to promote diversity and inclusion we talked about. Let's see what else is on this list. Co-founder of RISE. RISE is the Ross Initiative in Sports for Equality, a nonprofit organization that uses sports to promote racial equality and social justice. Named to Forbes list of billionaires in 2021 with an investment worth north of $7 million. It's about $7.6 billion is what I meant to say. Serves on the board of directors for the Jackie Robinson Foundation, Lincoln Center for Performing Arts, and New York Presbyterian Hospital. In 2013, Ross pledged to donate half of his wealth in charity through Giving Pledge, a campaign started by Warren Buffett and Bill Gates to encourage billionaires to give back to society. These are just a few of Steve and Ross's many accomplishments. Most notably, he's also investing a lot of money into Detroit and rebuilding and redeveloping Detroit as well, and other programs throughout Michigan. Is it possible that with all the money that he has spent over the years, he's jumped to throw out money at big name free agents, Ndamukong Suh, for example, or Wallace, the wide receiver that we got from Steelers. We constantly had the highest paid player. Most recently, we got Tyreek Hill, and gave him the bag. We brought in Chris Trubbs and gave him the bag under his watch. Oh, you want a new stadium? No problem. We got it taken care of. Even if the city didn't agree with me, I'm going to pay for it. You know what I mean? All these different things. He's built money. He built one of the most notable things he did recently, built the race car track around the Hard Rock. We didn't talk about the F1 track. We have the Miami Grand Prix. In addition to the Miami Grand Prix, we also have the US Open, the Miami US Open at the stadium with tennis too, which if you're a season ticket holder, check your emails because they've been giving away some free ground passes for that. So check that out.
So you enjoy that walk to the stadium every Sunday?
Yeah, I enjoy it, to be honest.
Okay.
Because there's a lot to do. I know there's more to do, but think about it, Color. You and I had privately talked. We talked about how we like tennis, bro. You know what I mean? And
I know, but it kind of sucks when you leave something in the car and got to go all the way back out to the car.
So what you're saying is, Mr. Ross, we need some ground transportation?
I'm just saying the race car track ain't all that. I could have done without it.
Oh, I hear you. But regardless, even if it wasn't there, Color, I think you'd still be walking the distance.
Oh, right. Exactly. They would still have the yellow parking that far out. Yeah, I guess you're right.
So, there's no difference. Now, here is the one quick take I will tell you. This is what I think there was a little flaw design with Mr. Ross's design here. So from the main, I want to say the tennis courts, one of the main courts that they have there, and actually it starts off in the parking lot. There is one of those, I forget what they call them. It's kind of like a ski lift.
A gondola.
a gondola that goes all the way to like the second or third level of the stadium. I'm not the stadium, but takes you to the tennis courts. Why didn't they have that go straight to the stadium also? You know, they could have had a stop at the tennis courts and then kept going to the stadium.
They could have ferried the players with their equipment to the stadium in that thing.
They could have. They could have very well done that. I just think that there should have been a little bit more thought process, because that would have helped people, to be honest. And me taking a gondola to get a nice view on my way to the third floor, that'd be awesome, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. So I love Stephen Ross for a lot of things, but here's why I bring him up. Right.
And before you do, one thing I want to touch on is, and I haven't seen it this year, is the business combine that he does with the players. I don't think he's doing it. Is he doing it this year? You know,
I haven't.
Combine?
Usually, it's done in the off season after we pick up our draft picks, I think. But I haven't seen anything about it or heard anything about it recently. Have you, Color?
No. I didn't even know he was doing that. That's pretty.
Yeah,
cool.
he actually has done that for several years. I want to say it's after the draft it happens.
Yeah, it's during the off season. So what basically what he does is he helps football players to invest after their football career into other ventures.
Yeah, it helps them with investments, also looking at marketing ability and different things like that, and how to prosper their future. He definitely is a player's owner, to be honest. He loves his players. He definitely, is willing to lend his ear as well as help them, in ways like that. So I really like the guy. Don't get me wrong. I really like Steve.
Real quick, he also does have a school of business named after him in University of Michigan.
And what's funny is Wayne Huizinga had one in Nova Southeastern University.
But yes, according to this website, R7Ventures, RS Adventure. No, I don't know what they're trying to say there, but whatever. Filed under Sports and Entertainment, Miami Dolphins owner Stephen Ross hosts second player business combine. This was dated March 17th. For the second straight year, Dolphins owner Stephen Ross held a business combine designed to assist players who have shown interest in such areas as real estate, technology, fashion, business operations, business development, and investing.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if this is, it just says March 17th. I don't know if this is from this year or not.
Yeah, I think that might be the older one, but I really think that he waits till after draft, because I think they include the rookies in it as well.
Right.
But that being good.
No, I was just say Robert Kraft has a business combine too. It's in Jupiter.
Nice.
Oh, here we go. They've got a link to the original article, which is on MiamiDolphins.com.
Yeah.
And the page cannot be found. So yeah, it's probably last year article.
I gotcha. Actually, that with that being said, and where I was trying to land, is it possible that because he invests his so much money in other ventures, and not including the Miami Dolphins, and including the fact that he's pledged 50% of his wealth towards this charity, do you think that is it possible that Stephen Ross has too much money tied up to be able to invest heavily in the Dolphins this year? Is that a possibility? What do you think, Color?
I think absolutely it's a possibility. Not to say he's going broke or nothing, but just to say that the money's not available right now.
Definitely. What do you think, Shake? What do you think? Do you think that's very possible?
The only thing, no, because you know what? At the end of the day, one thing about businessmen is they have their money separated. So I think his football, he knows what he has as far as football money and different ventures. He separates all that money. You know what I'm saying? You know, he's a good businessman. Any good businessman will have their different money separated. So he knows this is football money. They don't mix. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Unless he's destitute somewhere and he has to pay Rob Peter to pay Paul. That's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah, I agree with you. I kind of think that might be the case. I kind of think you know, I would hope that would be the case, but it's just very interesting on how we seem to play Moneyball all of a sudden, you know, and it makes me think of like the Oakland A's and what they did with their GM asking for money that really wasn't there, and he had to find ways to make it work. I mean, have we overspent ourselves? These are things that I want to consider.
Well, the last team that tried that in the NFL as an innovation happened pretty recently, and that would be the Cleveland Browns. What was Sasha something or other? As far as the analytics aspect of introducing into football, where these guys are trying to build a team like it's a baseball team, you know. That was when they picked up Jarvis Landry and Odell and they had Baker and all that. That was what they were trying to do, was basically, you know, Moneyball a win. And, you know, it didn't seem to work out for them very well, you know, because they've kind of gotten back away from that, you know, kind of failed experiment, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people, there was a lot of detractors that said that kind of thing can't work in the NFL, that you can't just throw a bunch of people together that, you know what I mean? It's not like baseball where it's sort of an individual sport. You know what I mean? Where you you don't have guys as dependent on each other in baseball as you do football, where, you know, these relationships have to be formed. You can't just throw a bunch of people together based on their stats and expect to output a win. You know, and now look, the three guys I mentioned from that Cleveland Browns team no longer are even on the team.
Yeah, and you know what? If you think about baseball, the only time you really need team chemistry on baseball is if like you're doing a double play or triple play. And how far,
I mean, you could argue that some of the championship teams, the regular championship teams, are a little more team oriented, but the sport itself and the profession doesn't care about anything but individual stats. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. But how often do you, in baseball, where you really see like double plays, triple plays, and
right. But when it comes down to it, it's on the pitcher and it's on the hitter,
and it's on the guy on the outfield catching the ball.
Right. Well, it was for the Cardinals a couple times. Like, we won one of the games in the World Series back in 2011, I believe it was. The Cardinals won one of those games because I believe it was the Texas Rangers outfielder dropped a routine out, like the last out of the game. And it gave us another chance to hit. And that might be the home run that David Freese hit to the grass in the middle of the field, in the middle of the outfield, that walked off the game.
Yeah.
You can remember Joe Buck. He was like, the ball's in there. He's like, "We will see you tomorrow night." That was so great, man. It's fun watching championship sports when you're rooting for a team that's a champion.
Hey, let me ask you this. How would you feel if all professional sports were one and done in the playoffs? Would you think that'll give the underdog a better chance to win?
Well, in baseball, absolutely. In baseball, the problem with doing that in baseball is that in baseball, especially, it's no measure of who the better team is. You know, because, you know, you have so many guys, like, you don't have one pitcher. Like, you don't have you have pitcher 1, pitcher 2, pitcher 3, you know, as far as a pecking order and all that, but you don't have like pitcher 1 and that's it. You know,
it's not like a starting QB.
Right. Now you do, in the sense that that's the guy that, you know, leads your bullpen, you know, like leads your team, like he's your best pitcher. But there's a lot of people that believe your closer is supposed to be your best pitcher, you know, or at least the pitcher with the most smoke, you know.
So what's going on? Baseball's going on now? You're on Broken
Yeah,
Base?
we were talking about how I forgot how we incorporated baseball.
No,
See what happens when you let You let two fans of a losing team start talking when you go away. We just bring up baseball.
I know. I just asked. I said, how interesting would baseball be if there were just one and done instead of a 7-game series?
I honestly think that's how it should be. To be honest,
no way.
You know, imagine.
Because you got to look at it like this.
To
measure who the better team is in baseball, you need to play for like hours on end to get through their whole, to really measure the roster. And the way that's done is over a couple-day period.
And
so you got to look at the series as the game, as the match. You know what I mean?
I hear what you're saying. I just can't get into it, Color. I don't mind going to a game. I mean, we have the St. Lucie Mets that play here for spring training. We have I watch them and everything and whatnot. And I go to their dollar nights. That's probably the best night to go. When they have dollar beer and hot dog night, that's the best night to go. It's so much fun. So going to a game is a lot more fun, but watching on TV, I just can't get into it, bro.
And again, it was hard. It's hard for me too. I'm not into it now because I'm not in St. Louis anymore.
Yeah.
It is pointless to follow a baseball team. Look, if you are not a diehard sport fan of baseball, it is hard to follow it and be a fan of a team that's not a championship team. That has no desire to really be in the hunt for a championship every year. Because, like, take, for instance, the Cardinals. Yeah, you're going to have down years. Everybody has to. But when the Cardinals have a down year, I'm like, oh, well, that's the cycle. You know what I mean? No problem. Next year, we're going to be competing again. It's like 4-to-1 ratio. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Whereas the Marlins is like, how many years has it been since you guys competed for a World Series?
It don't matter. You're right. But one thing about the Marlins.
Now, when you get to game 20 in the season of a 162-game season, you get the game. Let's say you get to game 30 and you're 10-20 and you already know your season's done. That's got to suck, man, unless you really, really love the sport.
And by the way, I just want to say, we've been around since '93, and we already have as many as the Mets. So,
I mean, if you're the type of person that loves baseball and its intricacies so much that you just would go to a random game in a town that you're visiting and you've never known you're that type of person, then yeah, by all means. But follow the Marlins, sure.
I hear you. Let's keep the conversation on football. Let's keep talking.
I know we got some editing to do.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I might keep it this way, man. We'll see what happens. So I'm talking about Ross. I'm wondering if he has the money tied up. This is a possibility. But here is the other possibility. And I have to prepare the audience. Some people in this audience may not like this take. They may not like what I have to say, but it's the truth. And this is the reality of it. We've come to now a point in the league where having an elite quarterback means something. Having a quarterback that you can rely on, that has shown they can play the game and put the game on their back and actually do what is needed to become a successful winning team, it starts with the quarterback. And the reality is, we don't know if we have that right now. You have one side of the coin that believes he's the left hand of God, that he's the best quarterback, in the NFL. He was number one in all these stats up until a certain week. You know what I mean? You got another side that, holds more reality. It's more of, was he really number one against all the comparable to the other NFL teams? You brought up baseball and how long it takes to evaluate a team. You could also say in football, you got to really see that player play against real teams, real defenses. And when I say real, I'm talking about the best, the ones that you know are going to be in the playoffs, the 49ers, the Chargers, the Bills, the the teams like that in the world, for example. You know what I mean? I want to see what our quarterback can do against those teams. And he didn't look so good against those teams. Now, some people say it's due to injury, concussion. Some people say, oh, it was the jet lag. That was the first excuse that I got. He's just tired. You know what I mean? Well, the guy, missed 3 games and he's tired already? I don't understand that. You know what I mean? Just being honest. There's different reasons on why, the other side questions that. And my question to you guys is, is Chris Greer and Ross in the organization really putting out a signal that maybe they don't believe in the kid 100%? Look at it this way. Yes, we did smart business, and anybody that thought that we weren't going to extend him to the 5th year was a fool, right? Because the reality is we were going to do that no matter what, right? You also look at the fact that we didn't bring any more weapons for him this year. We didn't bring in the right tackle that he needs so far. We haven't brought in the left guard that he needed so far. Yeah, we brought in some players that can be backups or 3rd or 4th stringers if we need them, to be 100% honest, but they're not a true 100% starter, on either of those positions. You look at the running backs. We ran it back with the guys we already had, and that wasn't anything special. They weren't even able to do it under an offensive line that I felt wasn't really the best offensive line. You know what I mean? They were okay. They weren't horrible, but it wasn't really that great to run behind. My question is it possible that they're saving the money knowing that their quarterback isn't necessarily the guy and that they may have to go buy someone later in the season? Or are they gearing up for the year after this year, and that's when they're really going to go all out and draft somebody or pick up a big-time quarterback, free agent, or trade, or whatever it may be? What do you think? We'll start off with you, Shake. What do you think?
Well, I was on Crypto's space today. And by the way, shout out to Crypto. I see him in the comment section, even though this recorded, but I still see him there. And I posed this question. Okay, if Chris Greer believes in Austin Jackson like he says he does, how come he didn't pick up his 5th year option yet?
No, in fact, I think they declined it. It's past the due. They haven't picked it up at all because I don't think they can, right? The deadline's passed.
Correct.
Yeah, they didn't pick up his 5th year option. They can't. So this is the last year of Austin Jackson that I think we have on contract this year. And you're right. They don't believe in him. And to be honest, you're probably going to get more back for a quarterback than an offensive lineman that's not really being productive, to be honest. That's the reality of it. You know what I mean? So I look at the fact that they're looking at a business decision. If I get this guy on the 5th year option, he's still cheap. If he works out and ends up proving everybody wrong that he was the guy all along, great. We have him for another year on the cheap, right? Where if he ends up not being the guy, okay, but he at least played the full season, let's say that happens, I might be able to still get something back for him. I might still get, a 3rd round pick or maybe a couple picks, low-end picks for him. I don't expect us to get like multiple 1st rounds for Tua, to be honest. Some people think that's what he's worth. I don't really see that yet. You know what I mean? Until you get into the playoffs and show me playoff wins, then I could see us maybe getting something like that. But as of right now, your health being in question, and you need to make sure you finish the season strong and not have any real dip-offs. I mean, I can give you a game having 1 or 2 bad games, but you have like 3-4 bad games in a row, something's up. Something's really up. And that's what my concern is. Now, why he had that issue, we don't know. It could be related to a concussion issue that he had. There could be a lot of different things. Some people have told me that they don't really think it was that. They think it's the way that the scheme is fit. People are starting to figure out the scheme, and that's concerns me on why we haven't picked up anybody. I'm afraid those teams already know what we're going to do because all we're doing is running it back.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy is that. All right, listen. I'm in when it comes to Tua, I'm more in the supporter. I mean, in the believer category than not. But at the end of the day, you can't ignore the fact that Chargers, the first thing they did was bolster up that offensive line. The Cincinnati Bengals bolster up that offensive line, and now the only thing that they really did was get a good center in who our center, I can't remember the center is who
Connor Williams.
Connor Williams and Trent Sherfield. Those are the only two sure, and of course you can't forget Hunt either. But those are the only really secure places that you have.
You're talking about Teron Armstead, not Trent Sherfield.
Yeah, Trent Armstead. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Trent Sherfield is no longer with us, and we'll definitely get to him next. I know
they both start with T. So
yeah, it's okay. Teron Armstead is here. Yes, he's a solid guy. Connor Williams is a solid guy. I don't see them moving him. And I also think Robert Hunt needs to stay where he's at too. Now, can he play right tackle? Robert Hunt can, but then it requires you to find a right guard. You know what I mean? You have that issue again. Now, here's a scenario that could work. You know, there's people that have said that they could see us moving Connor Williams to left guard, which we know he can play, not a problem. And then drafting a center. That's a possibility for the draft. But we'll get into that shortly. I know Color wants to chip at the bot with that, but we'll talk about that, you know, soon. But let's keep on point where we're talking about. Now, I haven't said that Tua isn't the guy in this video at all. You can record it. I haven't said he wasn't. I said that there's two sides of the coin, that some people believe he is, some people that believe he doesn't. Some people think he's, you know, the left hand of God, or you know, he has no fault. And then I have some people that really believe that, you know, he has faults, but you know, we have to just keep on pushing, right? So with me, I really don't care who the quarterback is. The name on the back of the jersey doesn't matter to me. If it was Glennon playing in the playoff game, I'd be rooting the hell out of Glennon. I'd be the #1 fan for Mike Glennon. You can ask Color. I've said this a million times. It does not matter who the quarterback is. I will still root for them. I'm a Tua critic, but I'm also a Dolphin fan first. I have a Tua jersey, but I'm a critic of his style or the scheme we have to fit around him for him to be productive. Because the reality is, think about it this. Prior to the concussion issue that he had after the Packers game on that Christmas Day, he was the #1 voted person in the Pro Bowl, bro. #1 person voted in the Pro Bowl, right? Highest votes ever from what I have read. And he doesn't get picked for the Pro Bowl. Why is that? It wasn't because of his concussion issues. They were playing flag football, first of all. And second of all, I honestly think they don't feel that his scheme can be played out in the Pro Bowl. You have too many different players. You know what I mean? And I think it costs teams a lot of overhead and a lot of transition to be able to fit in situations where they have to change out players just to fit a quarterback scheme. I'd rather have a quarterback that doesn't matter what scheme, he can adapt. Those are the type of style quarterbacks. I don't know what you have to say about Color. It looks like you want to say something. What do you got?
I mean, it's flag football.
I know the Pro Bowl doesn't mean anything. Trust me, I understand that. But
it's about this constant, you know, protection of somebody's image. Like, they're so deathly afraid that this guy's going to get exposed or look bad or give people like me ammo to wag my finger and say, see. And it's just getting so, like, ridiculous anymore.
Yeah, I honestly wanted to say this on Crypto Space earlier tonight, but unfortunately Twitter was like, nope, we're not letting you speak tonight. I wanted to say, in regards to the quarterback position and how the quarterback is being protected by a certain group of fans, that he can have no faults whatsoever, no matter what happens. Not even a certain percentage can be on the quarterback as it is for any other team. I honestly think that is because of the fact that we haven't had that guy in so long, that fans have decided that whoever the next guy in the door is, they want to hold him at the highest, above anybody else, no matter what, at what cost, even if it means dragging their team into the ground. Right? That's what I honestly believe. Because listen, I can understand that he does things well, and he did look hot. He did look really good against Baltimore in the fourth quarter. Right? There were games where he looked like he was the it factor. But then after 3 games, he comes back, he gets hot a little bit, and then goes instant cold. And then when you go back and look at it, outside of the Bills, he didn't really perform very good outside of anybody else. Was it him, or was it the inefficiencies of the Bills defense that really allowed, us to have such good games against the Bills?
Well, you know what? I don't find it an odd coincidence that the same people that are considered sycophants when it comes to Tua are also the most ones that are, defending the idea of tanking being a good idea. So yes, they feel like they went to war, that they were soldiers watching their team lose purposely to get Tua.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what they feel like. So that's why they're hanging him on the pedestal you're talking about. You see what I'm saying? And and I've said it from the beginning, these people that believe that tanking was the right way and all this and that. Well, guess what? It's cheating. It doesn't matter if it's against the rules. It doesn't matter if everybody does, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shortcut.
It is.
That we never needed before to win. And the thing of it is that I'm going to say it just like this. When you root for your team to lose, which you all are guilty of, okay, you two-and-ears that tell me that I don't root for my team because I don't care for the quarterback and blah, 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 yakety smack. You talk about rooting, people that are rooting for their team to lose. The reason you think I do that is because you are projecting. And the reason it qualifies as projection is because when you're projecting, you're saying that somebody else is acting a way that yourself, if you were in that situation, that you'd be acting. And you've already proven to do it because you all rooted for your team to lose. You all rooted for my Miami Dolphins to lose to get this man.
Mm-hmm.
So guess what? The famous rock group once screamed out, "What's deserved always gets served."
Yep. And I'll tell you what, in 2019, I cheered for all 5 of the wins. I was happy when we won, especially the last game against New England. I still watch it from time to time.
Don't be surprised that you end up getting shoehorned with garbage because you purposely lost and rooted for your team to lose.
Yeah, I rooted for my team to win no matter what. It didn't matter. Even if we were losing, I still rooted my team on. I still went to games.
I paid good money to go to those games. And yes, I knew we were tanking. I get it. That don't mean I wanted to. And for people to say to me, "Oh, you were the tank for 2." No. I, on the other hand, was soldiering up with my money to go to those games and get ripped off by them putting a product on the field that they know was intended to lose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely understand.
This scolding has been a long time coming, Ali. I haven't given it, but
I understand. I definitely hear you.
I dare a person to tell me that I root for my team to lose. Because we will have that conversation about who and who didn't.
I've said it.
root for
I've
their
said it
team
on
to
my last.
lose.
You know, I said it on the very last late night XL we had that I don't think there's anybody on this in our group in the Finns tailgate, Shake Money included, right? I don't think there's a single person that does not bleed more aqua and orange than anybody on our team, and that's the reality of it.
Well, you know what, bro? It's really funny how they can arbitrarily decide what is a worthy enough cause, because their comeback to me is, well, the thing we needed to do was lose. The thing we needed to do to fix all our issues was do this thing. So by rooting for us to lose, you were actually rooting for your team. I don't buy that for 1 second.
Yep.
And that's a cop out.
Yeah, I definitely hear you. I mean,
because when do who gets to decide what's a worthy enough cause to lose for? Huh? Who gets to decide that?
yeah, maybe when maybe when we actually start winning, maybe then we have an idea of who gets to decide that. But I really don't think there is anybody that gets to decide that, Color. I don't know.
So I'm just saying, like, somebody decided that it was okay to root for your team to lose to get Tua, but not to get rid of him.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that we have to get rid of him either, Color. I'm leaving it open for him.
But there's people out there that get accused of rooting for us to lose, rooting for Tua to fail.
Yeah, we're not rooting for Tua to fail. We want Tua to succeed, but at the same time, if he's not, we have to hold our team accountable. That's the reality of it, and we got to do something, because I can tell you right now, if this is a 11-year plan of watching him, doing what he does and we don't get anywhere, what was the point? We've never had this much talent on the team, Shake Money. We've never had this much talent on the defense. I mean, I was looking at what the projected starting defense is with the new guys we brought in, right? That's a Pro Bowl defense. Somebody said, you mean Super Bowl, right? No, it's a Pro Bowl defense. And why that is, because when you're evaluating teams, you don't just evaluate just based on their defense. You don't evaluate it just on the offense. You evaluate the entire team. And right now, the defense looks more complete, a complete puzzle, than the offense does. And until we address those offensive line positions, I'm going to still say that it's a Pro Bowl team, not a Super Bowl team. Right?
And we'll beat a few teams. We'll look good. But
oh, yeah, we'll definitely look good. But here's the reality of it. You look at teams like the Eagles last season. Who weren't they signing, bro? They brought in every piece of the puzzle that they needed. They're the one team. I don't have the graphic, but there's a graphic going around showing the offensive line grades for each team in each position. And they're like the only team that's green across the board, bro. Green across the board. That means everybody had high numbers like the 80s and 90s when it comes to offensive line grade. They were graded across the board, because they brought in the starters, they brought in the depth. Then they, not just on the offensive line, defensive line they did too. They had a strong front four and people to back them up. They had linebackers, no problem. They had every position covered, right? They had a very strong secondary, just like what we have. That's the difference between us and teams that go to the Super Bowl. We don't have the depth. So I kind of like the fact that we're bringing in these guys, because I see a lot of depth players being brought in that we didn't have in years prior. You know what I mean? So that could work, but now we need to see it on the offensive side. Now, getting back to what I was trying to talk about, why we might be doing this. I don't know if we're trying to win a Super Bowl anymore, Color. And that's my concern, because I kind of feel like maybe the Dolphins have decided, you know what? Let's play with what we got. We thought we were good enough. Let's see what happens again. Trying to do the same experiment twice without any changes, like it's going to make any difference. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you do it 100 times and you don't see any difference, what makes you think the 101st time is going to make any difference? You know what I mean? So my crazy take is maybe they already figured that they're not on Tua. Maybe they're holding that money for next year to bring in a certain quarterback, a guy that we've talked about before. And I'm not going to say this is the guy we're bringing. I'm just bringing one of the many possibilities. So there is a rumor going around that Lamar Jackson may sit out this year. He's prepping to actually sit out, regardless of the cost, to be able to walk away from the Ravens. He does not want to play for the Ravens no matter what. He's done with them, right? We've looked at him possibly going to the Patriots. Will that happen? I don't really think he wants to play for the Patriots. I don't think him and Bill Belichick would get along personally. You know, you look at teams. There's a dark horse team that I think that could get him, and it would be very impressive. And that's the Vikings. Imagine Lamar Jackson with the Vikings. You got Dalvin Cook. You got their other running back. I can't think of his name top of my head. Justin Jefferson. You know what I mean? That I could see that very well happening. And that could be a team that you can think about. There's other teams that are starting to now think about it. Even the Panthers, even though they came out as one of the first teams saying they weren't interested, they're even now considering it from what I've been told. So there's a lot of teams that have come out and started putting in feelers. Maybe if this doesn't work out for any of them, maybe they don't want to give up no matter what. Maybe he does come out as a free agent next season, and we have the free and clear to bring him without giving up the draft capital. And all it's going to do is cost us money as in cap. Why wouldn't you do it? Why do we have, people, I'm not pointing out specific people that I've talked to, but people I've read comments, on Twitter, on Discord, and other spaces and stuff, where people are just trying to look at the negative aspects of bringing in a Lamar Jackson and not the positive things. I mean, let's be real about it. Lamar Jackson, in his own right, is a talented quarterback in the NFL. He's not without flaws. No quarterback is. Every quarterback, even Dan Marino, had flaws. Let's be real. One of the primary criticisms that Lamar Jackson gets is his pass accuracy. While he's shown improvement in the area over the course of his career, there are still times when he struggles, to get his targets on point and everything. I can see why that would be a concern. But with proper coaching, and I think with the players that we have, I don't really see that being an issue. If Tyreek Hill is the elite receiver we claim him to be, if Waddle is moving his way up to be the elite receiver that we think he will become, then it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. They will find a way to get open, and they will get the ball.
Did Darren Bevel forget how to coach up quarterbacks?
That's correct.
Because it's Lamar?
That's absolutely true. That is a good question. In addition to it, Color, look at it this way. Didn't Lamar Jackson have the highest passer rating versus who? The Miami Dolphins? He had the highest possible rating you can get as a quarterback, as a passer rating.
At least at halftime.
At least at halftime, he had it. And compared to any other quarterback, no one's ever done that before, and it was against the Miami Dolphins. But he's a bad passer. I don't understand.
There's also something else that he's done that only one other quarterback in history has done.
And
that's have 2 games in the same season with a perfect passer rating.
Oh, there you go.
The only other quarterback that's done that is Ben Roethlisberger.
Interesting. That's something I did not know, Color. Thank you for sharing that. That is actually a really good point.
So even if he does run more than he throws, what the perfect passer rating tells you is he takes care of the football. That's literally what the passer rating is an indicator of. When you have less than 300 yards passing, 1 touchdown in the air, 1 on the ground, and 100 yards rushing, that's why you're getting a perfect passer rating, because you take care of the football.
Yeah. Another area where Lamar Jackson faces criticism is his decision making. At times, he can be very overly aggressive at his approach. What do you think about that, Color?
A lot of that's out of necessity because of the team that's constructed around him currently. What do you think, Shake?
You know, and another thing, I want to say that it's the team currently constructed. I think it's that offensive coordinator. That's the type of offense he ran. We've seen him run the same kind of offense in San Francisco when he had Colin Kaepernick.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, and I've always said, I was on a show with have you heard of guys heard of Great One DeVore? I was on a show with him. I used to do a show with him called Not for Debate. And one of the things I brought up on that show is Lamar Jackson needed a new offensive coordinator. I'm not saying the offensive coordinator was bad, but Lamar needed a new offensive coordinator in the fact that he needed a new system to run. You know what I'm saying? He needs to get out of that comfort zone of that running and needs a offensive coordinator that's going to help nurture his passing instead of his running.
Right.
And I think that's
can you imagine having that weapon like as a spare, like sparingly? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You'd be deadly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean,
because the fact of it is that people want to glaze over. This is why I think you made a great point, Ali, about people always immediately going to the negative aspects of bringing in a guy like him in. The main positive aspect is, and that trumps all. The guy could score on any given play. How many plays you run in a game? You know what, 40, 50, 60? Yeah,
somewhere around there.
He could score on any one of those plays. Even if he didn't, default to running more often than throwing. It wouldn't matter, to Shake's point. If you're 70-30 and the 30% of the time you're scoring, I mean, the guy could literally score on any play he touches the football.
Yeah, I agree with you, Color. I think he really can score. In addition to that, bringing in a guy like Lamar Jackson, it's actually like bringing in two positions at once. And I'm good with that. I'm 100% good with that, because when our running backs aren't hot, that forces us to focus strictly on our, receivers. And that basically makes things a lot easier for the opposing defenses. When you have a Lamar Jackson on your team, you have your running game, you have Lamar Jackson, and you have Waddle and Tyreek and our receivers, you've opened up a whole new can of worms for defenses.
Let's say you're running a read option with Derrick Henry in the backfield and Lamar Jackson under center.
Yeah, who's to says
what linebacker doesn't take the cheese if you faked Derrick Henry up the middle? You know what I mean?
Or I'll do another one, Color. Let's say we don't get Derrick Henry because it may cost a lot. Who knows, right? But let's say we even made the trade. We finally pulled the trigger and got Vikings to let go, and they let us have Delvin Cook, for example. Either one, Derrick Henry or Delvin Cook, doesn't matter, right? They're going to be worried about those running backs, and they have to worry about Lamar at the same time. It's like running Wildcat the entire offense.
Well, think about this. If you're running a wide zone running scheme in a West Coast system, right? What do you want? You want gaps.
Yeah.
You want cutback lanes. You want to open up zones. You want, and it's called a wide zone. You want it to be as wide as possible.
Yep.
Right. Well, what does Lamar Jackson force your defensive line? And I think I'm cutting out.
Yep, he's cutting out.
All right. Am I back?
You are back. Yes.
Right. So what do you think a guy like Lamar Jackson and his ability does to a defensive line in a second level linebacker group? It forces them to widen their gaps. It forces them to spread out. They can't stick everybody up bunched up because Lamar Jackson will take the edge.
Also, one thing I want to bring up too is the fact that one thing that everybody was talking about Mike McDaniel was how he schemes up his wide receivers open. So at the end of the day, if McDaniel schemes his receivers wide open and with lots of separation, you really don't need that tight window throw.
Exactly. Right. You could run the same game you're running for Tua.
Yeah.
Now your quarterback has the ability to score anytime he touches the football.
Mm-hmm. That's absolutely true.
I'm paying zillions for that. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, you can't put a price on that color. It's worth anything you're willing to pay.
That's why I'm done with the. That's why I'm done with the nonsense, Ali. I'm done with the hate. I'm done with the racist tropes they put on this man. I'm tired of it.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. So
give him the ball and let him cook. And I'm saying that to all 32 teams. I don't care who your damn quarterback is.
Mm-hmm. Tell us what you really think, Color. I know you went on about this on.
This has nothing to do with the Dolphins anymore. I said that this morning. You know what I mean? This is I'm just tired of it. Every single time we get a guy like this, we got to go through this freaking nonsense for months in the league. It's absolutely ridiculous. And they've come up this time, you know, they've got a great one because a lot of regular people agree with the take that he needs an agent. Now, that's the latest thing that makes Lamar different than everybody else. See, that's what you were saying, Ali, mainly than anything else besides being negative. Mm-hmm. When you bring up Lamar, everybody has to make a point of how different he is than everybody else. You notice that?
Yeah. They can't just call him a quarterback. He has to be a running back where they say something about, you know, oh, his mom is doing all of his negotiating or something along to that effect. It always has to be something that is said. Why can't they just
those same people bitch about the gatekeeping going on by agents and media and everybody else, all these people that Lamar is balking. We should be standing up for this man. We should be saying registration for some stupid agent authorization.
Mm-hmm.
I should be allowed to have anybody talk to you people. Look, I should be able to go hire my own lawyer and act as an agent. I'm pretty sure agents probably have to be lawyers anyway, according to whatever NFLPA requirements there are. See, hey, y'all can unionize all you want. Y'all can keep, I'm not going to get political here, but hey, what's deserved always gets served. And talk to the NFLPA, not the NFL.
You know, interesting enough.
Talk to the organization that's supposed to be protecting Lamar and his liberty.
Yeah, this is absolutely true. In addition to it, Color, let's actually look at it this way too.
Certified agent. Look, Lamar, if I had the money, bro, you know, you got it, buddy. 300 mil, you want it? Come get it. If I had it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I don't really care.
I know a nice little Italian spot out in West Boynton too that's come up since you lived here, bro, that you probably haven't eaten it yet. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. That's true. What I was going to say, Color, is that let's look at it this way. This will bring out the hypocrites that are in the fan base, because there's some people that are very big hypocrites on this. You look at players that, like Larry Tunsil. Everybody loves Larry Tunsil, right? Larry Tunsil just scored himself a really good bag and got extended with the Texans. Guess who his agent was?
A non-certified NFLPA certified agent.
Himself.
Yeah.
That's who it was. And
he's got a guy that speaks for him.
No,
and that's the guy that the NFLPA is like, he needs to be certified.
Well, let's look at it this way, though. Nobody goes after Larry Tunsil at all about the bag that he just got. They only sing praises to him, and he did it himself. Another guy, Richard Sherman did this for himself too. You know what I mean? And he bet on himself and got some money too from San Francisco, if you remember. These guys, they don't say nothing about. But when it comes to somebody coming in a position as the quarterback, they always got something to say.
Because something
Why?
having to do with a guy named Mason and a guy named Dixon. Yeah, I said it. That's right. It has to do with where he was brought up. They literally stereotype him as some dumb idiot from the South.
Yeah. I know what you mean, Color. I know how this gets to you. I think it's horrendous that they actually think he's that dumb. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that we're actually going to see what happens.
That's okay, Lamar. When you come home, we can go have dinner and you and I can talk quantum mechanics all night, buddy. I know what's up. I know you know what's up.
Yep. So, Shake Money, what do you got on this? What do you think? I mean, I've given both aspects. Is it Ross's money's tied up too much? Is the Miami Dolphins maybe not 100% into Tua, and we're looking at a situation that they're just keeping the money open? When I say open, they're hiding it to be able to get a QB that they think will, finish the season for them. Like, what do you think? What do you think's happening here?
Or maybe they think this is the act. Look, maybe they actually genuinely think that this is the winning formula.
And I'm glad you brought that up, Shake, because that was the other outcome. You and I talked about this. The only other outcome is that they think this is the winning formula. But if it didn't work last year and you had all those injuries still, what makes you think that injuries aren't going to happen? And what makes you think that it's going to work this time?
Well, again, like we all said before, that Josh Boyer was the scapegoat. So now he said, look, we have a defensive coordinator. So we have a seasoned defensive coordinator. So if we do have these injuries, and he'll be able to adapt a lot better than Josh Boyer would. So this defense will be able to do multiple things in case our secondaries get injured, in case our linebackers get injured. This guy could morph into different things versus Josh Boyer was kind of like a one-trick pony. Once you took his defensive backs away, he was very limited in what he could do in his play calling.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. You have the versatility of the different players that can come in and actually fill their position. I need Brandon Jones to be 100% healthy this year because we're going to really need him for that. In addition to that, maybe there is already a scapegoat that's still, one of the usual suspects on this team that we haven't named. Maybe it's our special teams coordinator. Maybe he's the next guy that they're going to shoot at and say it's his fault for this coming year if it doesn't work out.
It could be. It could be this. Yeah. Who's the Crossman's fault? Yeah.
Yeah. It could be a Crossman. But I mean, the whole thing is that I expect if we're really trying to win Super Bowls, and that's the goal that we've been promised year after year for the past 35 years or however long it's been, right? Why hasn't the team actually put 100% towards doing that? Why didn't we actually go and address all the needs like we had to? Why hasn't Ross opened up his pocketbook? What's going on? The only thing else that could be going on is there is a lawsuit that Ross is part of that has to do with some of his soccer investments and stuff with FIFA and stuff like that. I don't know if there's, because he's in litigation or whatever, he has to freeze up his money. I don't know if that has to do with it. And when I'm saying freeze up his money, I'm talking about when they negotiate contracts, they can negotiate in ways that he can pay people up front as a signing bonus and whatnot to free up cap space. You know what I mean? Or leave cap room on the table. And it just looks like we really didn't do any of that.
Well, he did. He actually paid Terron Armstead up front, which was kind of, everybody was shaking their head like, why the hell are you gonna?
He did that last year, yes, but this year, Jalen Ramsey, what we did, what was it? They paid like $30 million extra or something like that. I forget what it is exactly, and it did open up some cap space. Yes, it did.
I mean, we negotiated Armstead's contract, Terron Armstead's contract this year, because we signed him last year. So
yeah,
we couldn't renegotiate it last year because last year was his first year. This year we renegotiated Armstead, and people were up in arms because how are you gonna push the can down the line on an already old player.
Mm-hmm. And that's true. So my question is, because there's ways that we've already proven that there's ways on this team, even not even renegotiating, you can trade certain players, cut certain players, or even there is one or two restructures that we can still do and still open up cap space, but we haven't done it yet. We haven't used the Byron Jones money yet. You know what I mean? We haven't negotiated or restructured, I would say, Ogba's contract or traded Cedric Wilson yet. You know what I mean? You let Sherfield go, completely, who had more catches than Gesicki did, right? And you still have Cedric Wilson on this team, and you think it's because Eazy-E is going to be coming in the win. But you still have Cedric Wilson, who I don't really feel fits this team, and he's not going to be running punts anymore because that's going to be Berrios. All right, everybody knows that. I don't know. I just think that there's something going on, something that's at play, and that's why I think that we can't see. Hopefully, it's some big scheme that we're going to end up with the biggest fish, and we're going to ride the sunset to the Super Bowl. That's the hope. But in reality, right now, it doesn't seem like that. Do you have anything to say about that, Color? Anything else?
No, sir. I'm sorry. I'm a bit distracted reading an article.
I gotcha. It's all good. Shake Money, any last words for us before we shut this down?
No, I appreciate you guys letting me be a part of this. Also, Thursday nights at 7, check me out on Larry K's channel, where I am going to be interviewing Vic Coaster tonight, and I'm going to be highlighting the 70. I'm going to be highlighting the 72 Dolphins. And this Saturday, I'm going to be debuting my bar, where I am going to be making the Salty Tua. So
the Salty Tua.
That's right. If you know what the ingredients are, you know what they are. But this Saturday, I'm going to. It's during the football season, which Color was a guest on it. We did a panel show, and when the Dolphins win, I would celebrate it with a Salty Tua. So it was a drink I created myself.
Nice. I'll have to find out what's in this drink. Sounds very yummy, actually. Yeah. But yeah, thanks, Shake. So you said you have a show tomorrow, right?
Yeah. At 7 o'clock on Larry K's channel. Vic Coaster.
Right. Check out Shake Money, 7 o'clock on Larry K's channel. Definitely check that out. Color, you got any last words for us?
No, sir. Other than catch me on my next show in the morning. I don't know what time of the day or night you might audience might be watching right now, but make sure you catch me in the mornings. I'm going to be starting to go regularly at 8 a.m. or 8:30ish with coffee and a cup of color, and then come the first, or I should say early April, we will transition that into an earlier show with Ali that will segue into that show. And so looking out for that. Make sure you hit your notification bell after subscribing. And so other than that, fins up, and we'll keep giving our broken takes.
Before you go though, that Salty Tua is going to be on this wonderful network with the homie DTA. I just wanted to put that out there.
Cool.
Saturday night.
Saturday night. All right. Is that every Saturday?
Give my regards to Vic if I can't make it to your show tomorrow night.
Yeah, for sure. No, yeah. While you're on your hiatus, me and DTA, we're going to be doing some Saturday nights, and that's when I'm going to be making my cocktails.
All right. Well, make sure everybody keep my spot warm for Shake Money and DTA on Saturdays. That will be coming back the first week of preseason. Definitely. We're just taking a short break while we have a new show, as Color segued into. Morning. Yes. Morning show with Ali and Color that will be running starting at 6 o'clock in the morning, Monday through Friday, is what we're going to be doing. So any of the early birds, people that are driving to work, I know we got truck drivers that watch our show, people that, do deliveries, people that work for the Postal Service. I know you guys
while he's doing his morning jog with his beats on,
Yeah, definitely check out our show and check out what we got to say. It's going to be a lot different than your standard TFTG show. It's going to be a lot more structured, and we're going to have a lot more stuff that we're going to be talking about, as well as different things that we're going to be providing to you as content. That being said, stay tuned. I believe later, sometime next week, we're going to have like a little preview of the show to come. Like I said, it's Monday through Friday here on the Fins Tailgate, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. for myself. Color will be taking over after 8 p.m. or actually 8 a.m. 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. God, I got to get used to that. I already got to get to bed to be up as early as I got to be up now.
And also one more thank you to all the people that have hit like and shared this video. Thank you to all our members who happen to be watching this premiere.
Yes.
We're probably chopping it up with you in chat right now. And so as a fun little gag, I am going to say hi to my future self. Yo, Color, quit bitching at everybody in chat.
Oh,
See,
okay.
I just sent myself a message.
I'll follow suit and send myself a message to Color.
And now, currently in the chat, I am making fun of myself for just doing that. So
I understand. Well, here's
what happens tomorrow.
I know you're watching. You need to turn around and go back to work because you're supposed to be at work right now. That's.
And my future message is, Shake, I bet you overslept again, didn't you?
That's funny. That's funny. All right, gentlemen, let's put this down here. Make sure you check out all the rest of our shows we got here on the Fins Tailgate. We have the Fins Tailgate show with El Capitan, doing interviews with Brian Catt, different people. You never know who he's gonna have. Shit, we might even have Tua and Lamar Jackson one-on-one here at some time. Who knows? But anyway, we got the Rabid Dolphin, Lewis, doing spaces, doing stuff during the week, midday, doing the War Room with DTA. Check out DTA's different shows that he has on Saturday with Shake Money, and he's also doing midday war Rooms every other day. Definitely check him out with Lewis, putting out the real talk, the real hard talk about the Miami Dolphins. And then you got Late Night XL. We're on pause for right now. We'll be back. I promise you, we will be back better than ever every Saturday during the season. It's coming. Get ready, get set. And last but not least, let's not forget about Color Commentary. Color having a cup of coffee this morning was wonderful, and I can't wait to see many more shows for him. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, turn on notifications, go over to your neighbor's house, tell them, tell their kids, tell their wives, tell them to come join the channel, to come join the Fins Tailgate where the party never stops. Also, if you want to donate, you have Cash App and Venmo. You can also become a member. We appreciate all of you. And with that being said, all of you, I hope you do and have a wonderful night.